Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is if your sun is in Cancer and you have Libra rising. This is a combination of water and air, and water and air are very different in terms of how they express energy. And it's not surprising, therefore, that these two signs form what is called a square. A square is a tense angle that is approximately 90 degrees apart. And by the way, for people that don't know what aspects are simply when two planets or points make contact with one another. And sometimes the contact produces an energy that is cooperative, and sometimes it is challenging. And it's very interesting when you learn about aspects, because it enhances your understanding of the different planets and signs that you have in your chart, because it's like another layer of the onion. It's another way that these planets express themselves in your chart. And so this is a hard angle between the sun, which is who you came here to be, how you came here to shine your light, your goals, that kind of thing, and your rising sign, which is your physical appearance, your persona, how people perceive you. And when these things clash in a square, there can be a frustration with you, that people don't understand you, that they get the wrong impression of you. That's a big one when you have a square between the sun and the rising sign, or the moon and the rising sign. So, in this case, I'm going to talk about what I think could be happening there, but I just wanted to talk about these placements individually. So, the rising sign is the cusp of the first house. And since the first house is the house of the self, the body, this can describe the appearance. When you have Libra at the ascendant, that means, oh, and that's another thing. Whatever is your rising sign, its ruler is your ruler, because it's the ruler of the chart. You could say the sun is the ruler too, for sure. So, I mean, you could talk about your sun's ruler, the moon, being your ruler, but also Venus because of the rising sign. Now, Venus is the goddess of love and beauty, so it's not a stretch to say that a fair number of Libra rising individuals, both male and female, will likely be physically attractive. And if they're not classically beautiful or handsome, they could still have an elegant air about them. They may be snazzy dressers. They may be people that are very well groomed, and they just take great care of their appearance. And I mean, I'm sure there are outliers. I'll probably get a few people saying, "Oh, I never shave. I never do this. I never do that." I'm scruffy. But for the most part, you will see that this will probably fall in place very predictably, that that's what the person wants to be seen as somebody attractive. And so I don't know about a specific body type that I would associate with Libra, but with Cancer, even though that's in the sun sign, I do think that the sun sign and the moon sign can also affect appearance. I don't think it's just one thing. And a very common trait with Cancer is having a moon face. So having a very round face. And also, and sometimes this can also be accompanied by retaining water. So with somebody who is a Libra rising, if they are frustrated that they have a tendency to retain water. They may feel like they're not as attractive, they're puffy, they're bloated. I don't know if my theory is 100% correct, but I do believe that the sun sign can affect appearance. I don't think it's always just the rising sign. And Libra rising people can also be very overly concerned about their appearance. And again, the rising sign, I feel the influence from it dissipates after the first Saturn return or after the age of 30 because they are becoming more of themselves, and that will involve the sun sign. So I feel like as you get older, this becomes less of a problem. But of course, we know people that don't seem to get over that they have, varying issues related to their physical appearance. I have done a video on astrology and body dysmorphia, so you can check my channel for that. And I do think it's a thing, that's what causes things like eating disorders. But I do believe that Libra may be very sensitive to their appearance and wanting to look a certain way. Now, because Cancer is the sun sign, that can also play into things because the mood may dictate that. And so, once again, you have this square. Now, you have to look at your chart to see if you actually do have a square there, because I think the orb, I was looking online and they're saying about 6 degrees or so. Um, and even like they said, if the sun is the sun or moon are involved, it could be 10 degrees. So we could extend it to that. But the closer the orb, the more profound the influence. And what can happen is that the person may be in a certain mood because because Cancer being ruled by the moon and being a water sign can be moody, and sometimes their emotional nature may cause them to think about things like physical appearance, even. I mean, all different aspects of life. We know that, you know, as human beings, there's always something to think about, to worry about. And so that might be one of the things that when the person is kind of vulnerable, that they ruminate over. And I want to say that the person may be gorgeous, the person may be very handsome, but they don't feel that way because they have an insecurity. Because Cancer is a very sensitive sign. Yes, because it's a water sign, but just because of the nature of Cancer and what it represents and how Cancer expresses itself, and whether it's male or female, this is the case. A male Cancer who has Libra rising, this is kind of funny because Cancer is a feminine sign and Libra is actually a masculine sign. Both of these have nothing to do with gender, they're just energies. The male person with this combination can be very in tune with women and get along really well with women. I always say that the water sign males tend to be quite macho, and they may be men's men where they have a hard time relating to women. But I would say that this combination could definitely be an exception to that rule. And um, this could be like a great combination for a man who has to work with a lot of women for some reason or deal with them. Um, Basically, this combination is going to be very kindly. But we have to remember that, or I will say that Cancer is a very strange sign in the sense that because it's a cardinal sign and a water sign, there's can be an aggression sometimes with Cancer, surprisingly, that I have witnessed, where that is coming from, that's motivated by the emotions at that time. If they are feeling threatened or they are feeling um, that somebody is not giving them enough, I wouldn't call it attention, but sympathy or consideration, they can go on the offensive. There's a manipulative quality to Cancer, but there's also a very nurturing quality. This is what Cancer is known for. The mother is Cancer. So even if we're talking about a man, there's a good chance that this man is very home oriented, may love to cook, may love to um, take care of his children, play a big role, not play an incidental role, and just in general is a homebody. And with Libra rising, he just may. I think that's a great combination for somebody who enjoys uh, socializing, but because usually Cancer is very clannish, so they tend to be very family oriented and not necessarily have a bunch of friends because they're very close knit to the people that they care about. And yet with Libra, and that's a yin or feminine trait. The yang is more expansive into the outer world, and that's where the Libra energy, the air sign energy comes in. So that person, at least on the surface, can network and socialize with others, and that can give them a great um, affinity for people, because people with Libra rising tend to be very gracious and they're well received by other people. They tend to be polite, thoughtful, considerate. They don't want to make waves. And so this brings up another point that's very important for this combination, is learning to say no in a way that doesn't um, imply that you feel guilty about saying no, that you think that, in other words, sometimes people who are people pleasers, they have to say no to something because they know they can't do it for some reason, but they're so pissed off that somebody even asks them because they feel guilty about saying no, that they kind of say it in a aggressive way or an angry way. And learning how to stand in your own power, not feel unnecessary guilt, assert yourself, um, allow other people to be them, who they came here to be, because cancers can be, I think, kind of controlling because of their emotional needs. And this combination, I feel, can be quite codependent, that you might be the kind of person that always has to have a relationship, and that kind of thing. Part of it is because you want to feel loved. Now you have love to give others. You're not one of those people that is incapable of loving other people and you just want love. No, you're capable of giving it, but it's almost like, I gave this to you, now you have to do this for me. Well, Cancer, the greatest lesson that Cancer has to learn is to let go. Whether it's letting go of children as they get older and not, uh, suffocating them by overprotecting them, being too um, much of a worrywart, but also any kind of a partner, because this combination can be the one. And I'm just going to say women, but men can obviously do this as well. But women, it's that woman who wants to get married after the first date, and she drives the men away because she's way too, you could say emotionally needy, but it's more like, I don't know if I take it that far, but there's definitely that aggression when it comes to trying to get that relationship nailed down. And learning to enjoy time with yourself, not needing a relationship like back to back, always, having somebody waiting in the wings. That can help you to understand yourself better. You may have a strong desire to have children, but here's an example, talking about body issues, for a woman, you may, with Libra rising, you may be like, oh my God, will pregnancy alter my body permanently? And you may have that. I would call it vanity, but I don't really see Libras that way. It's not like an ego thing, it's just like an aesthetic thing. And there is a certain insecurity that is inherent in that belief, but I wouldn't call it something along those lines like vanity or the ego. But whatever it is, it can make a woman less inclined to have children at a certain point in her life because she feels like, I don't want to, maybe she's too attached to how she looks, and yet she wants it very much. So that kind of tug of war could actually be a thing. Now, I'm not saying that it would be taken to the extreme of not having children, but I'm just saying what that square that I'm talking about is all about. Because really, and the same thing applies to feeling like, I think this could be another possible scenario. And again, I'm talking about heterosexual relationships because I don't think the same would apply if a woman was with another woman. And this is not to put down men, it's just this kind of like, and this might even not even be with the younger generation, it might be with people who are past the age of 40 or something. But the idea of a woman who is very attractive, she gets a man. Now, he may love her, but he may have really been drawn to her physical appearance. She gives birth, and all of a sudden, she feels this sense of satisfaction that she is fulfilling her purpose. Like that was her main purpose. The sun is in Cancer. And then the man is like, oh, aren't you going to lose weight? Aren't you going to, like, aren't you going to go back to the gym? And she may be like, hell no, I'm not, you know, why do I have to do that? We're together, we're married, I have a kid, life is good. Because, sometimes you will see a woman who, when she's very, a lot younger, she's very preoccupied, maybe over preoccupied, or maybe that's redundant with her appearance. And then when she gets to be a certain age, she kind of, people say, oh, she let herself go. But she may have just found something that was superior to that preoccupation, namely motherhood, namely, maybe it's a career, maybe it's just personal development. And she realizes that that's shallow to spend so much time obsessing about her looks. So I feel like this is a very romantic combination. Like I said, be careful about codependency. Have your own sense of self at all times. Don't try to define yourself through somebody else. In terms of careers, this could be really great for the hospitality. I could see somebody who's like well, what is hospitality? Is that like if you work like a caterer? I don't know. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure what hospitality is. Um, but I think that this combination could even be like a gourmet restaurant. Owning a gourmet restaurant, being a home designer, because Cancer rules the home, and Libra is artistic. I think teachers, especially early childhood teachers. I always think of Cancer as a teacher, and Libra is an air sign, so it involves the intellect. So I think those things can be quite satisfying for that type of individual. Yeah. Anytime I really do feel that Cancer, in terms of like healthcare industry, if you're going to call it the healthcare field, like a doula, a midwife, or working as a nurse for an obstetrician. But I don't know about Libra rising, if that would go along with that. I think I really don't think I'm not quite sure. The rising sign isn't necessarily going to determine the type of career that you are interested in, but um, we do factor it into personality. So that's why I'm, kind of giving it some bit of importance. Okay. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope that this resonated. If you would like to have a chart reading by me, I do chart readings, I do transit readings for the next 12 months. It can be any starting time. Um, and I have combinations of those, and I have other types of readings too. The combinations are like a package deal, and they are specially priced because of that. And that's called the deep dive for the two readings that I just mentioned together. Because separately priced, you'd pay a lot more money. But I do have them. Sometimes people are just interested in one type of thing. So my website is Rain and Moon Astrology. The link is below. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.